yes, our next talk is actually a success story on ditching dairy by Caroline Zimmer from Germany. She's the founder and managing director of E.V.A. GmbH and CEO of Simply V, a plant-based cheese alternatives brand and quite famous amongst vegans. And within just 12 months, they rose up to being the market leader and key driver in German food retailing. And here she is, all the way from Oberreute. Please welcome Caroline Zimmer.
So thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here. And that's not just a saying. You know, we made such a huge progress within the last 4 years, so I'm really happy to share some insights with you. But before doing that, I want to be honest. I don't like the title of my talk, because for us, it's not about ditching someone. Maybe someone feels ditched by what we are doing, but the intention is not to ditch someone. It's more about reframing and rethinking things and changing mindsets and create the future. So this is what we want to do. But this is really a hard way to go. The company was founded 4 years ago, so exactly 4 years ago, so this is our 4th anniversary. And it was founded on the Allgäu because we found an empty factory over there. I don't know if you know where the Allgäu is, but it's pretty far from here. Wonderful landscape, lovely people. They don't talk so much, but mountains, we still have snow over there. Mystical full moon nights. When I came here yesterday, and it took me really 1 day to come here, I looked at the sky and was looking for the full moon because we have full moon at the moment, but I couldn't see it. So there you get an impression how worth it is to fight for Mother Earth. And it happened at the beginning that we were 4 persons over there. 1 product developer, a technologist, an assistant, and me. And then sometimes one of the neighbors of the small village where we're situated came and knocked at the door. And it happened that it was me who opened. And I said, hi. And the person in front of me said, hi, I want to talk to the boss. And I said, yes. And he said nothing. And then I thought maybe it's time to explain that I'm the boss. And I said, well, this is me. And then he said, no. And nothing else. Then I waited and thought, and I said, why? And he said, because you're a woman. So I found out that to combine the two words, women and leadership, is not so natural and familiar as we think. Then second question was, what are you going to do here? I said, well, we want to develop and produce a vegan cheese. And you have to know that the Allgäu is the cheese kitchen of Germany, a lot of cattle and farmers over there. So they said to me, you want to do what? And then I thought maybe the word vegan is not so well known in that area, and I tried to explain it and said, we want to develop and produce a cheese made out of nuts. And I could see that the electricity ratio in the head of the man in front of me was increasing by 100%. So this is what we are talking about. We have to change thinkings, combining words. And we always think in this room, this is very familiar. But to be honest, outside it's not. So it's a long way to go. And as I said, we were founded 4 years ago, and after 6 months of development, we were able to launch the first products, and we became market leader within 12 months. So how was that? When we started in September to launch the first products, it was via a pilot plant. You know, these small machines. We had a cream cheese, and we could produce there 4 varieties, and we were able to seal 2 pots in 1 minute by pressing a button. So we thought, with whom could we work together with? And we found a partner at that time here in Berlin, well known. It was Vegans. And they said they want to sell our products in the supermarkets, and that fit perfectly to us because they only had 10 supermarkets and we only had this small pilot plant machine. So we started, and 2 weeks later, Jan called me and said, well, you know, everyone falls in love with your brand and your product, so may we take you to the Untitled? And I don't know if you know the Untitled. It's a very famous food trade fair in Cologne. And there we really reached a breakthrough. It was a big bang because we were said to be the first vegan cheese that really tastes. So we are really happy about that. And then after that, the retailers called us and asked us to come to present our product to them. So we were invited to nearly every retailer in Germany. You know, that time was very hard for me because if you look at Rewe or Edeka, you know the amounts of products you have to produce then. So by doing this with this small machine was not, so we had to invest then. But what we learned in the first step is the hardest thing to overcome is the mindset of the people. And 4 years ago, the market situation was totally different. There were already a lot of cheeses on the market, but the consumers told us that they don't taste or they don't fit the aesthetics of the people, so they wanted something else. And we looked over to America and we saw that there are already some very good tasting cheeses over there. You might know them, made out of nuts. So we found out that the nutty dairy could be a thing to go for. Yes, but the development of the products, that was one thing. But to convince a purchasing retailer who's responsible for meat and cheese to put the products into the shelf, that was another thing. Because at that time, vegans were seen as spinners. So it was like a little bit, you can see here in this video.
And then he went into the kitchen, slowly opened the refrigerator, and it was empty. So then the man, weak with hunger, raced from the refrigerator to the counter to look for a delivery menu. But all he could find was one for a vegan place!
Vegan places aren't real, right?
No, they're not real. Or are they? Ah, salad! Ah!
So at that time, I got a lot of WhatsApps from my dairy colleagues, like this one here. So nowadays, everyone says, well, it's clear that we went this way, but in the beginning, it was like this. So let me walk you through a journey we made the last years, how we succeeded at least, and I defined 5 key steps to success. It's not a Harvard study for success for launching and establishing plant-based products, but it is at least what we learned. The first thing you have to do, you have to know exactly who is your target group. Sounds easy, but it's not. We made over 60 qualitative interviews, and qualitative research is essential to really know who your consumer is and what he wants. And in these 60 interviews, we found out with people who are eating vegan that we couldn't find a cluster for them, you know. Some were old, some were young, some were women, some were male, some were sporty, some were not, some were healthy, some were not. We thought, what is the cluster behind it? And we found out that there are 3 different types of people. Of course, you all know them, the all-days vegan. We knew them before, but then we found out that there are people in Germany who from time to time became vegans by doing a challenge. So they are eating vegan for 1 day, or 1 week, or 1 month. So we call them the time-to-time vegans. And then at least we found that there are persons who think that it's good to have a vegan plate or meal from time to time, but then on the other side eating as they always were used to. And we started the measurement in 2014, and I think it's the only survey that exists who's measuring that since the last 5 years. Why did we do that? Because, you know, we had to invest. We had a really huge investment, and for getting money, you have to convince the money giver. And this is more easily doing that with figures. So in 2014, there was 1% of vegans in the German population. It was done by Forsa, so it's really representative. We found out that there are 4% of those who are doing a challenge 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, twice or 3 times a year. And there were 12% one-meal vegans, so to call them. So we said, well, 16% of the German population in 2014 is going to eat vegan from time to time. And then we called them ernährungsbewusste vegan-affine. So, you know, this kind of complex, ernährungsbewusst vegan-affin. And then we named the company as E.V.A, which is the brief of that. In 2015, the E.V.A movement went up to 26%. We said, well, this is quite a huge number of potential consumers. And nowadays we are over 1/3 of the German population is eating a vegan meal or from time to time has a vegan challenge. So this is really big, means 19 million people. So second, you have to find out what is the right product fit. And therefore, you have to go with the consumers. You have to go the similar path with them. You have to talk to them, but you have to be a listener first and a talker second. This is very important to find out. You have to adopt your offer to meet exactly what is needed. And we did that with a special way of interviews. We call them the Ethnographic Interviews. This is from design thinking. You know that these pivot circles you do very, very often. For developing one product, we had a round of 100 times. We went out to the consumers. We showed the products to them. We asked them what to do. Then we went back to the lab. We reconstructed the product, we went out again, and we went not into market research institutes, but we went out to the consumer exactly. So that came out, and we're really very proud of this fit, because the feedback was exactly this is what we want. So we hit the need states of the consumer. And then, this is very important, you have to provide the same sense of satisfaction and functionality. You have to give really an exciting premium solution to the consumer. You know, people want to fall in romance with their food, and you have to give them the product for doing this. So indeed, you can use our cheese in every situation. You use ordinary cheese as well. So this was really new. Then, said before, you have to build up a great brand experience. What is this? You know, the consumer believes in what he sees, and he believes in people he knows. And therefore, we build up a big community with our consumers. We talk to them. And this is very important. If consumer asks you something, answer honestly. Perfect is not possible. We all know that. But the consumer understands if you say, we're doing this because of. We are processing the product like we do because of. And talking with the consumer, you become authentic and real. A lot of follow, of course, we have. Important is to transport the consumer to another place. So this is a very funny story about this vending machine we placed in Oberreuth. As you see, a lot of snow there. When we did this in the small village, we filled in the products in the afternoon, and when I came the next morning, the machine was empty. And I think in Berlin you think someone has broken it. No, that's not in the Allgäu. There was a lot of money in it, but so we saw the neighbors, they came overnight, and emptied the machine. They were a little bit shy to do that at daytime, so very funny thing. And then next, to build up a brand, you need brand awareness. What does this mean? Brand awareness is you have to address something to the consumers, but if you do so and spend money because paid media is a must, then you have to be available. And this is kind of very tricky thing. We are available now, but the way to come there was not that easy, because you really have to know the rules of the retailers. And most startups fail here because, of course, a retailer wants to have the reassurance that you are able to deliver 100% quality, the same quality. So this is really necessary to be certificated, IFS certificate. You have to know how to manage the logistics, and you have to know how to reach every retailer at the same time, because if you present something to the one and the other does not know, you're really in deep trouble. So this was something we of course knew, and this was an advantage for us. So now we are available all over Germany, and the fans told us every time they found us, and they put this in our internet card. So this was really a nice story, because the consumers helped us to build up the distribution. Because at that time we were 30 people and still only one person in sales, which was me. Then you have to have a great team. It's all about people. And you have to love the people you work with, because you spend so much time together with them. And we really spend a lot of time together. And we are now 75 persons at Oberreute, and we are such a nice team, and it's so funny to work together with them. They really love the brand. They are not all vegans, but that doesn't matter. They are really excited about the brand, and this is where we are situated. Very nice place, as you can see. Yes, and you get the impression that it's worth to keep the nature in shape. So let me summarize. You have to love the taste. You have to transport the consumer to another place and give them a premium experience. You have to talk to them behind the scenes and with real faces and real things. And you have to provide the same sense of satisfaction and functionality that they are used to get. And what then if you do this? Well, this is a very, very nice moment. You open your PC and you get letters from your fans and your customers, and it is like this. And then you know everything was right and the effort was well done. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much to Caroline. Maybe you want to bail with us if we have questions right now. There is your chance to ask any questions. Are there any questions? There is one question over there. Just going to bring the microphone. Walking over. Getting there. I just hold it for you.
Yeah, so I'm Andreas Redl from Terios. One question, so you're all making your products based on nuts. Where do you source them?
We source them at the moment in California, because we need a special almond with a special taste. We're not really happy about that, and we're eagerly looking for alternatives in Europe. But at the moment we can't find. You always have this marzipan taste in it. So, and this is not what is perfect in cheese.
Okay, so there's another question over there. Just come running. There you go. I'm going to hold it for you. You want to stand up so everybody can see you?
Okay, yeah. Thank you for your sharing and congratulations to the success of the brand. Your product is very tasty. I really like it. Looking back, what would you do differently for the launch of the brand? Or if you could do it again, any advice? Yeah, thank you.
To be honest, nothing. That's not because but it was really a wonderful travel with all of my colleagues, and what we learned, we had to learn. So I think we did everything right until now. Not me only, but the team as well. So.
Well, that's a great conclusion. Thank you. I have a last question, though, a personal one. What about quark?
Wait.
All right.
You don't have to wait that long.
All right.
Just wait a little bit.
All right. I'm very excited. Thank you so much. Thank you to Caroline. For this great talk. And with that, I'll hand it over to Jeroen for the next talk.